Tonight on Connecticut's news station, a murder mystery in Hartford. Doctors discovered an injured man outside their hospital, severely stabbed. Fox 61 spoke with his family tonight. A driver taking an off-ramp crashes into trees along a soccer field, making for some scary moments on the pitch.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free!
One of the largest pro-Palestinian demonstrations in the nation taking place today in our nation's capital. Thousands gathered calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. I'm Mike Emanuel in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10:30. I'm Carmen Chow. He was so close to getting help just outside an emergency room. New tonight, we're learning about the 35th victim of a homicide in Hartford this year. His family spoke to Fox 61's Jake Garcia. He's live outside police headquarters in Hartford with the interviews you'll see only on Fox 61 tonight. Jake.
Carmen, friends and family of Kendall Jones gathered today to pay their respects while investigators are trying to piece together exactly what happened and find the person responsible for his death. Hartford police were called to the emergency room entrance of St. Francis Hospital just before 3:30 Saturday morning for an unconscious person in a car.
Officers and EMS got there really quickly, located him unresponsive, brought him into the OR where unfortunately he's pronounced deceased.
Investigators later determined the stabbing occurred just over a mile away in the parking lot of this gas station on Albany Avenue. Throughout the afternoon, loved ones paid their respects here and gathered to remember a man they called the staple of this community.
Everybody knows him. He sold clothes. He had a store over here. He's been in this community for his whole life, raised here.
A growing memorial to the man who was described as someone who would give the shirt off his back for a stranger.
And he was a very loving person, like he didn't harm nobody.
Took me in as a child. That's my oldest brother.
Leaving those grieving, struggling to understand why he was murdered.
My thing is like, why? Why? Just why?
And calling for peace.
We need justice and we need peace.
Man.
He did not deserve this.
Just stop the violence. Stop the violence. Stop killing each other. Stop shooting each other. Stop hurting each other.
Kendall's family is hoping someone out there has information that can bring the person responsible to justice.
Please come forth. Please come forth and say anything that you know as far as the person that's responsible for this killing, any killings in this city.
This is Hartford's second homicide this week. On Tuesday, 32-year-old Jalil Woolry was found stabbed to death near Blue Hills Avenue and Sharon Street. If you have any information on either case, you're asked to contact Hartford Police. Reporting live from Hartford Police Headquarters, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Jake, thank you. Also new tonight, Saturday in the park turned into a scary scene in Meriden when a car crashed onto a soccer field. This happened at Cronenberger Park this afternoon. We're told the driver was taking the Preston Avenue off-ramp from Interstate 91. That's exit 19. Somehow that driver left the road and wound up in some trees alongside the park's soccer field. State police say the crash seriously injured the driver. Meriden police closed Cronenberger Park and canceled all activities. There's no official word tonight on the driver's condition. An investigation is underway. We have video just in from Franklin Avenue in Hartford. Fox 61 on the scene of a fire in a building that's forced the closure of the avenue between Bond and Warner Streets. Fortunately, firefighters were able to get the flames under control in 40 minutes. No word yet on injuries or damage. President Biden today said he's made progress towards achieving a humanitarian pause in Israel's war with Hamas. He said yes in response to a reporter's question and gave a thumbs up as he left church in Delaware this morning. Meanwhile, Israeli forces focused their firepower on its northern border with Lebanon today, where the military says Hezbollah terrorists are trying to strike Israel. In Tel Aviv, thousands of Israelis rallied to demand the release of the 240 hostages being held by Hamas, carrying signs and photos of the captives. And across the United States today, supporters of Palestinians rallied and called for a ceasefire in Israel's war with Hamas. This was the scene in New York City, where protesters also called on the Biden administration to stop funding Israel. Fox's Mike Emanuel covered a rally by thousands in Washington.
Thousands in the nation's capital on Saturday showing support for the Palestinian people and calling for the White House to support an end to the military offensive in Gaza.
We've been dying left and right, been killed in front of the world to see, and the government hasn't blinked an eye.
The U.S. is one of just a handful of countries publicly opposing a ceasefire, agreeing with Israel's argument that it would simply give Hamas time to regroup. But those here today say too many innocents have been caught in the crossfire. Just on Saturday, Israeli strikes killed multiple civilians at a UN shelter and hospital in the main combat zone.
Kids, women, I mean, they're pretty much bombing everything. This is not a war. War is a military against military, but this is against humanity.
A new Quinnipiac poll released this week shows half of registered voters approve of Israel's response to the October 7th attack by Hamas. At the same time, 70% support providing more humanitarian aid to help Palestinians in Gaza. The Biden administration is trying to strike a balance in the conflict, siding with their Israeli allies while emphasizing the need to get civilians out of harm's way.
Taking every possible measure to protect human life, to prevent civilian casualties, as well as to ensure that those who are in need have the assistance that they need.
Organizers say today's demonstration is the largest in the U.S. since the war began. In Washington, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
Back here at home, 60 years after Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s March on Washington, people in Hartford are still chasing his dream. Social justice advocates hosted a march on Hartford today to commemorate the capital city's reforms and pay tribute to its activists. They marched from Sand Elementary School to Hartford City Hall, honoring Dr. King's legacy here. Organizers recall he was an active advocate for the North End and for fair housing.
We could come together in unity to take a stand at some of the things that are happening here in Hartford, Connecticut, that we can empower each other to stand against the shootings, the housing crisis, different things of that nature.
Marchers today included families, churches, community-based organizations, businesses, and students. Next month marks 11 years since the Sandy Hook massacre, and today would have been the 38th birthday of Vicky Sotos, one of the teachers killed that horrible day. Thousands got together in Bridgeport to celebrate her legacy and support her love of education. They sang happy birthday to Ms. Sotos, and then they ran. Family, friends, former students, and more took part in the annual 5K race in Bridgeport, which Sotos' younger sister says has grown 5 times the size of the first one.
She loved things over the top, so to have all these people show up for her today is everything that our family could ever ask for.
Sotos' family says so far they've raised $600,000 in scholarships and to buy books for school children. The Donnie's Dash 5K and walk kicked off this morning in Simsbury. UConn basketball legend Donnie Marshall hosted today's event. He was at the finish line greeting all of the runners as they crossed and handed out little Lego shoes as awards to all the winners. Katie Edwards from Glastonbury took the win for the 5K race. Congratulations, Katie. All of the proceeds for today's race benefit the Boys and Girls Club of Hartford. Today, hundreds of folks got together in Coventry to honor our veterans with a race that's more than just a race. Patriots Parks was where veterans, their families, friends, and their supporters took part in a 4-mile race or a 3-mile walk, or for the truly tough, a 3-mile rucksack loaded with non-perishable food to support those less fortunate. Since the event began in 2016, organizers have raised more than $84,000 to support 18 Connecticut veteran organizations.
Now, the Fox 61 Weather Watch with meteorologist Ryan Breton.
So we gained that extra hour of sleep tonight. Do you ever feel the difference?
I feel like I used to.
Okay.
but now not so much anymore.
It's because we're older and we're
Exactly.
lacking sleep, right?
Exactly. You know, it's funny. This is always such a complicated topic. Some people are for it, against it.
Sure.
But the bottom line is this time of the year, there just isn't much daylight to work with.
Yeah.
That's why we're trying to change the clocks to adapt to it. Our sunrise tomorrow morning will be 6:27 in the morning. Sunset will be at 4:40 in the evening. And we keep losing daylight until the winter solstice coming up on December 21st. Also wanted to note that by the end of this month, November 30th, sunset will be before 4:30. This was a look at the last sunset in the 5s. The hour, that is, from the Portland area this evening. A nice look at that. It's 46 right now in Hartford, 54 degrees in New Haven. Not all that chilly for this hour of the night, especially considering how cold it was on some of the other nights this week. We've got a couple of sprinkles trying to develop, but the air is pretty dry. Haven't seen anything reaching the ground just yet. There are a few showers in the Hudson Valley, and these may come in overnight, so there might be a brief sprinkle or shower tonight. I know a lot has been said about how this is the first dry weekend in what seems like forever, but we may have a couple drops coming through tonight. Wouldn't really impact anything tomorrow, though. A mix of clouds and sunshine, a mild day. There's the sunrise coming up just before 6:30 in the morning. And we'll show you this hour by hour. There will be a decent amount of sun tomorrow, and then some clouds filling in a bit during the afternoon, much like today. At times there will be some sun, and then at other times some clouds will filter that sun here and there. So high temperatures tomorrow, 58 degrees in Torrington, 60 in Hartford, 63 in Meriden, Chester, and Groton for the day tomorrow. A little bit cooler on Monday, but still a dry day. High temperatures in the lower to mid 50s with an east to southeast wind as high pressure is offshore on Monday. And then we'll keep an eye on this warm front. That comes in Monday night into Tuesday. Tuesday's forecast, though, has actually trended better. It looks like we may have some showers mainly early in the day, then some sunshine, and then perhaps a brief shower as this cold front comes through Tuesday evening. But before that happens, we may hit the 60s on Tuesday. And then it does turn cooler as we get into the day Wednesday before we watch the next system approaching on Thursday into Friday. Election day is Tuesday, by the way. Weather looking really good. Best day of the week, just a chance for a shower, and then we'll be clearing out after highs in the 60s during the day. So here you see the next 7 days. Pretty good for tomorrow. A mix of clouds and sunshine. It'll be a mild day with highs near 60. Partly cloudy for Monday. A little bit cooler, though, lower to mid 50s. Chance for a couple of showers on Tuesday, mainly early and late. But a lot of the time during the day will be dry and quite warm for this time of the year with highs in the mid 60s, turning a little bit more unsettled as another system comes in, though, with somewhat cooler weather Thursday, Friday into the beginning of next weekend. That's the latest forecast. Carmen, back to you.